بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. In the name of God, the compassionate and merciful. Hello dear brothers and sisters, respected viewers. Welcome to this live Ziyarah show, to the show which is broadcasting to you from Karbala. We are in this studio next to the Holy Shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Imam Abbas alayhi salam, ready to spend our time with these two great individuals and inshallah learn more about Ahlul Bayt. Let's all together say humble salam to Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Imam Abbas alayhi salam. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتك. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Let's all together say humble salam to Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل عباس. السلام عليك يا قمر بني هاشم. السلام عليك يا باب الحوائج ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, dear brothers and sisters, respected viewers, once again here in Karbala, we are ready to listen to the great lecture of the respected guest, Sheikh Mustafa Akhound, who is here in the studio, and inshallah he's going to tell us more about Ahlul Bayt, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhim ajma'in. Let's welcome him and thank him for his presence here in this studio. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhna, and inshallah we're ready to have your lecture.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah to Brother Mustafa and all the viewers of Imam Hussein TV 3 to this live show, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost to hasten the appearance of our beloved Imam Mahdi ajalallah ta'ala farajuh sharif, and to make us among his companions and his sincere soldiers, and to grant the visitation of the shrines of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam to all the viewers of this live show, or if they watch this later on, inshallah, as soon as possible, inshallah.
Inshallah, Shaykhna, the rest of the phrases of Ziyarah al-Jamiah.
Inshallah.
We're ready to.
Actually, we still have this hadith that we started the previous night under the segment وَالتَّامِّينَ فِي مَحَبَّةِ اللَّهِ, those who are perfect in love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we stated that they dissolved in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in order for us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to dissolve in the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. And we brought a hadith from the book of Khisal by Sheikh Saduq, which stated that, brings a hadith from Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, that says, مَنْ رَزَقَهُ اللَّهُ حُبَّ الْأَئِمَّةِ مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِي فَقَدْ أَصَابَ خَيْرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. We brought this hadith, we start talking about it, that the one who has the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, the one who has been blessed to have the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in his heart, has got the good in this world and the life after death. And Rasulullah says, فَلَا يَشُكَّنَّ أَحَدٌ أَنَّهُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. He shouldn't have doubt that inshallah this love will get him into heaven, inshallah. And then Rasulullah continues by saying that love of Ahlul Bayt, the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, has 20 characteristics. 10 of them in this world, 20 things will happen to the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, 10 of them in this life and 10 in life after death. The ones that we talked about it is that وَالْوَرَعُ فِي الدِّينِ, being pious within the religion, وَالرَّغْبَةُ فِي الْعِبَادَةِ, he loves worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَالتَّوْبَةُ قَبْلَ الْمَوْتِ, we discussed this and we brought an example, وَالنَّشَاطُ فِي قِيَامِ اللَّيْلِ, the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam will be, nashat comes when somebody, I'm not finding a good English translation from it, but nashat, when you are happy, when you are motivated, when you are encouraged, when you do something based on love, full of energy. At nighttime, the lover of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, he has that much energy that when he wakes up, he is so much in love with Allah and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that he prefers supplicating and praying during the night prayer more than his sleep. وَالْيَأْسُ مِمَّا فِي أَيْدِ النَّاسِ, he's hopeless from what is in people's hand. How much this will help an individual, that whatever he sees in people's hands, he doesn't care about it. He doesn't look at that, I wish I can have that also. No. His eyes is in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which are Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They are Yadullah. When we call Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, Yadullah, Aynullah, Udhunullah, Wajhullah. Allah's blessing reaches us through the hand of Imam Zamana Ajlallah ta'ala Farajah Sharif. So our eyes should be in the hand of Imam al-Mahdi. That, oh Imam, I want you to give me what it comes from your generosity. وَالْحِفْظُ لِأَمْرِ اللَّهِ وَنَهْيِهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. The love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam will make the person to protect and preserve what Allah has commanded to do, and he will do it, and abstain from what he has been prohibited from acting. وَالتَّاسِعَةُ بُغْضُ الدُّنْيَا. He hates this world. Not he hates this world that I don't want to live in this world anymore. No, he hates this world for this world. But he loves this world for akhirah. He wants to take as much as possible from this world for akhirah. He takes advantage of every minute of his life in here to serve, every penny that he has to give, every minute to read and teach, every effort and energy that he has for the sake of Allah and Ahlul Bayt he can do so. That's why he loves the world in this view, but he hates it for the sake of dunya. Okay, I live here 7 years, 8 years, I eat, I drink and get married, have kids and house, and then what? وَالْعَاشِرَةُ السَّخَاءُ. Lovers of Ahlul Bayt, they are generous. When it comes to helping needy people, when it comes to helping the cause of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they are generous. They are not stingy. These are the 10 characteristics and 10 things that will happen to the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. وَأَمَّا الَّتِي فِي الْآخِرَةِ فَلَا يُنْشَرُ لَهُ دِيوَانٌ. On the Day of Judgment, people's action, which has been written and has been scrolled by the angels on the right and the left, it will be shown. People, everybody will see it. The action of the lovers of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam will not be shown. وَلَا يُنْصَبُ لَهُ مِيزَانٌ. A scale won't be there, because when you stand in front of the judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when you see the scale and they're putting good deeds on it, you get happy. But you have bad deeds also, you will get upset. The lovers of Ahl Bayt who has those 10 characteristics in dunya, there won't be any more scales for him. وَيُعْطَى كِتَابُهُ بِيَمِينِهِ. Because we have in Quran that the righteous people, the believers, will receive their deeds on their right hands from the front. And the wrongdoers, the transgressors, the oppressors, they will receive it from the left, from the back. وَيُكْتَبُ لَهُ بَرَاءَةٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ. A voucher will be given to him that you will not get near hellfire. I mean, any of these, if one of these only happened to us, we're satisfied. So 10 of them. وَيَبْيَضُّ وَجْهَهُ وَيُكْسَى مِنْ حُلَلِ الْجَنَّةِ. His face will be white, brightness, and have light, and it will be illuminating. And he will be wearing clothes from heaven. وَيَشْفَعُ فِي مِئَةٍ مِّنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ. He will intercede for hundreds of his own family members. Because one of the questions that I get when I go around different states, had a youth discussion, that's if we are good people, but our parents or relatives or brother or sister or one of our relatives, they were not righteous people, they were not good people. Well, if we go to heaven and they don't end up in heaven, we will feel sorry, we will feel upset. And what kind of happiness is this? I told them this hadith, that Allah allows the believer, the lovers of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam, and especially the lovers of Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha, and Ahl Bayt to intercede for his family. وَيَنْظُرُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلْ إِلَيْهِ بِالرَّحْمَةِ. Allah will look at him with his mercy. Again, each one of them I can talk about an hour, bringing verses, bringing narrations. وَيُتَوَجُّ مِنْ تِيجَانِ الْجَنَّةِ. He will be giving him throne and of Jannah. وَالْعَاشِرَةُ يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. He will enter heaven without any calculation of his deeds. Why? First, Rasulullah said those 10 that are in the beginning in the world. This love makes him a pious individual, makes him eagerly to work, makes him to be wara' fi deen, yearning and being energetic when it comes to worshipping Allah. Tawbah qabla al-maut. So all of these 10 happens because of the love of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam. And then comes the akhirah and the rewards that he gets. There's another hadith similar also within Kitab Bahar al-Anwar, volume 27, page 162, similar. At time of death, in addition, at time of death, it will benefit him. And the salat, when he's trying to cross the bridge, it will benefit him, the love of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam. And in here it says 7 places. When the souls come, Day of Judgment by itself is very scary. According to the description of the Holy Quran from the Day of Judgment, that the sun is above our head, the distance between us and the sun is the length of a spear. Like standing, let's say about 6 feet. The sun is above our head. Dark, hot. Imagine you are between trillions and trillions and trillions of people, not knowing what's going to happen. Rasulullah says, وَعِنْدَ الْقِيَامِ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ. Love of Ahl Bayt, as soon as you get to the Day of Judgment, يوم القيامة, love of Ahl Bayt will be there to help you. وَعِنْدَ طَائِرُ الصُّحُفِ. When the deeds will be spread all in the heavens. وَعِنْدَ الْحِسَابِ, similar to the other hadith. So we see they have been dissolved in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of that dissolving, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Hadith al-Kisa, we read it from Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha. That's why she's muhadditha. That this is very important for people to know. Probably our viewers, since they are, mashallah, engaged within Islamic studies and listening to lectures and reading books, when we read Hadith al-Kisa, this is very important to think of this. Fatima al-Zahra is the one who's narrating this story. Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari عن فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها قالت أنها دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام. She said that my father walked into me, said I'm sick, And then she said Imam Hassan walked in, and she narrates us to a discussion between her and Imam Hassan. Then Imam Hussein alayhi salam walks in, and she keeps narrating. And then my husband Amir Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam walked in. Then I went under the cloak, under the kisa. Then she said, she is narrating to us what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's discussion is with angels. قال يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات. So she is hearing the conversation that is happening in the heaven between the angels and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah, so it's not, she's not saying قال رسول الله قال الله. No, she is saying فقال الله عز وجل. So she hears the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah speaks to the angel. فقال الله عز وجل. Again, since they dissolve in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's see the reward and let's see what Allah has done. فقال الله عز وجل. Then the Lord Almighty Allah said, يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي. O my angels, or residents of my heaven, إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا. Verily, I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري. I have not created the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships. إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. The main purpose, the main reason why I created everything, but for the love of these five underneath the clock. When they dissolve in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah creates everything on earth, in this universe, the sun and the moon, everything, because of their love. I'll ask a question and I'll let the viewers to answer. So since everything has been created because of the love of Fatima al-Zahra, because of the love of Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib, because of the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, what would Allah do to those people who attack the door of Fatima al-Zahra? What would Allah do to those people who poisoned Rasulullah? What would Allah do to the person who struck Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? What would Allah do to those people who poisoned Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam? What would Allah do to those people who killed Imam Hussein alayhi salam? That's my question to them. What would Allah do? This is, so the person who hates Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we have those who are Nawasib, they still exist. In some of the countries, they hate Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Nawasib. And they walk on this earth that Allah has created because of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Allah lets them. He gives them chances to ask forgiveness because Arhamur Rahimin. So this is under وَالتَّامِّينَ فِي مَحَبَّةِ اللَّهِ. They are the perfect in love of Allah. They dissolve in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We must strive to dissolve in the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. How? By more and more and more increasing our knowledge of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Why they have dissolved in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It brings us to the next phrase of Ziyarah al-Kabirah. Why? Because they are وَالْمُخْلِصِينَ فِي تَوْحِيدِ اللَّهِ. They are the sincere in professing Allah's oneness. The most sincere, the sincerest when it comes to professing and to acknowledging and to proclaiming Allah's oneness, Tawheed. Because of that, they dissolve in love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because what we said in the previously, they don't see anything but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seeking His nearness. So, due to the Ahlul Bayt, we know Allah the way that we know. And we are worshipping Him due to their worship and the way that they taught us how to worship Him. Tawheedullah. We have within a hadith, numerous hadith I was searching today, where Imam says, وَلَوْلَانَا مَا عُرِفَ اللَّهِ. If it wasn't because of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we wouldn't know Allah the way that we should know Him. Because if we look, even within our religion of Islam, before we go into other religions, some sects believe that Allah can be seen on the Day of Judgment.
And they also call themselves Muslim.
They call themselves Muslims. And they bring evidence and verses from the Holy Quran, and they have their own way of interpreting it. because the source that interprets for them is not connected to the sender of the book, so he interprets on his own, not what the author wants him to interpret. Like when I give you a letter, I send you, Brother Mustafa, and I send someone that in case you don't understand my letter, to tell you what exactly I mean. But you say, no, I don't want the one that explains your letter. I can understand myself, and it's a very detailed rules, regulation, do's and don'ts, and I want you to apply it. For example, the book of law of any government. Why our argument against the non-Shia will be, can it be a government? Every government has constitution, bylaws, rules, regulation. Why do we need people in the government? We need government to apply these laws. Can we just do it ourselves? We don't need any more. We don't need any more police officers. We don't need judges. We don't need congressmen. We don't need senators. We don't need presidents. We don't need any of them. We don't want any of those people to come and apply the law. We can take the law, book of law, and read it ourselves and apply it. Everybody will laugh at us. That a country needs people who understand the law, who are trying their best to take whatever they understand from this book of law and apply it to people, and make sure people, they don't wrong one another, they don't oppress one another. So this is the normal country to country with 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 100 million, 300 million. We're talking about the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sent by Him for all mankind. How can it be that it's left behind without anybody who explain and rule? And we say, Hasbuna kitab Allah, that the book of Allah is sufficient. Coming back, لَوْلَانَا مَا عُرِفَ اللَّهِ. If it wasn't because of us, Allah wouldn't be known. Within our religion again, there are people who believe Allah can be seen on the Day of Judgment. Allah Thursday nights comes to the earth. Allah has these attributes. When it comes to the Sifatullah, Allah's attributes, they are different, they have different discussions. Agree, disagree, and amongst themselves, the non-Shia scholars, they have a dispute. But when it comes to teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they tell us and they teach us the way that we should know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one, وَبِعِبَادَتِنَا عُبِدَ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلْ وَلَوْلَانَا مَا عُبِدَ اللَّهِ. By our worship, Allah is worshipped. And if it wasn't for us, Allah wouldn't worship. Somebody will say, how? We'll say it doesn't need that many years for people to forget the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Only 51 years after the martyrdom of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khalifatul Muslimin, quote unquote, he prays Salat al-Jama'ah while he's drunk. Or Khalifatul Muslimin, his father, Muawiyah, prays Salatul Jum'ah on Wednesday. Or Walid ibn Uqba, he prays while he's drunk. Also Khalifatul Muslimin, governor of Muslimin. He prays, they told him, okay, he said, how many prayers I prayed? He doesn't know because he's drunk. He tells them, should I pray more for you? If you want, I can pray more for you. If you want, I can pray less for you. So only 51 years after the martyrdom of Rasulullah, we see the nation of the Holy Prophet where it got to. So if it wasn't for the sacrifice of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, if it wasn't for the blood of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and what they did for this religion, what do you think 1400 years later would have reached us? Nothing. If after 51 years, Islam was in pieces, Khalifatul Muslimin, all of his time busy swimming in a swimming pool filled with alcohol beverages, praying while drunk, playing with monkeys, womanizer. So 51 years. So if it wasn't for the sake of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, it wouldn't need a century that Islam would have vanished completely and nothing would have left from Islam. Because Imam Hussein alayhi salam says on that, when he comes, don't you see that from Islam nothing has left except its name?
And this is what was Muawiyah's aim, because he said that Dafna, he wanted to bury the name of Islam and name of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well.
Of course, and they planned. And until today, we are seeing the result of those evil action that they took. Even he lived X amount of years and he ruled X amount of years, but until today, the Wahhabi mentality it's following that mindset.
Yeah.
ISIS mentality is that mindset. Al-Qaeda mentality is that mindset. They built that wrong foundation. And on that wrong foundation, we see what is happening today, killing people until today in Afghanistan, 2-3 days ago.
Allah. Yeah.
Car bomb. Killing right and left, and they call themselves Muslims. So imagine when Imam says, وَلَوْلَانَا مَا عُرِفَ اللَّهِ, and if it wasn't because of Allah, Allah wouldn't be known, and if it wasn't because of our worship, Allah wouldn't be worshipped. That is true. We can see it to be completely evidence. So who else has introduced Allah to mankind than Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, the way that needs to be introduced? No one. So that is the religion of Islam. Christianity, their own way of deviating from knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Judaism, their own way of deviating. Hinduism with many gods that they have. Buddhism, one way. Confucianism, one way. Taoism, one way. All of these isms, man-made religions, they have their own understanding of God. So if Allah wouldn't send imams, وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا, if Allah wouldn't send imams, on the day of judgment we had argue, we had hujjah against Allah. Well, Allah, we were confused. We saw these people, we just went around and we shopped around as we shopped for houses, we shopped for cars, we shopped for clothes, we shopped around different religions, and we found this religion to be beautiful. Some people find Christianity to be beautiful, some people find Buddhism to be beautiful, some people find different religions to be beautiful, and we followed. You didn't send people to teach us who you are. وَالدُّعَاةِ إِلَى مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. We read it in previous nights. You are the one who guide people to what Allah's satisfaction and what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, right now, this is all claiming. We're claiming that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they are the best that taught us who Allah is. Do I have evidence? Yes. We see with the Nahj al-Balagha. Imam al-Muttaqeen, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, beautifully explains what is religion and God and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He states, Nahj al-Balagha, the first, second sermon. أول الدين معرفته. The foremost in religion is the acknowledgement of Him. So before you start with anything, before starting with any religion, أول الدين معرفته. You should know Him. وكمال معرفته التصديق به. And the perfection of acknowledging Him is to testify Him. وكمال التصديق به توحيده. And the perfection of testifying Him is to believe in His oneness. And it's beautiful. It's a lengthy sermon by Imam Ali alayhi salam. People can find it in alislam.org. Again, I just searched it today. I found a beautiful translation. I'm reading it. وكمال توحيده الإخلاص له. And the perfection of believing in His oneness is to regard Him pure. And it continues. Nafi al-sifat, negating the attributes of, for example, partnering with Him, having partner. And again, I just brought a segment of it. If it wasn't because of these sermons by Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we see an individual comes within the book of Usul Kafi. Beautiful dialogue between Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and the disbelievers. One of the simplest one. One of the very simple. Probably we've mentioned it. It's good to remind. Person comes to Imam alayhi salam and says, Imam, I don't see God, hence I don't believe in Him. Since I don't see Him and I don't find Him. Imam says, have you traveled east? He said, no. Have you traveled west? No. Have you traveled north? No. Heaven? Under the earth? No. Imam said, don't you think that He might be in the east? It is true that Allah doesn't have space. But when you come and claim that because I didn't see God, I don't believe in Him. Have you traveled the whole world and the heavens and you didn't find Him? If you did that, then you have a claim and you have an argument. But when you haven't traveled, you are within your own house, works, within your own couple of streets that you know of, how do you say that Allah doesn't exist? I didn't see God, since you didn't search for Him. That brings us to very important, that we need to search. We need to ask questions. This is mandatory. It's a rational obligation for us to search. When I I exist. I didn't exist before my birthday.
Yeah.
And one day I will leave. What happened before? Why I'm here? Where I'm heading? What's happened after my death? Again, it's a rational obligation that we must have. أول الدين معرفته. Before I start with any religion, do I know God the way that I should know Him? Or I don't know Him? When I get to know of Him, so right now, how should I get to know Him? His attributes. Nafyu Sifat, I know I will just read the English translation. People can refer to again, Nahj al-Balagha. The perfection of believing in His oneness is to regard Him pure. And the perfection of His purity is to deny Him attributes. Because every attribute is a proof that it is different from that to which it is attributed. And everything to which something is attributed is different from the attribute. Every verse of this needs a lot of explanation.
Yeah, definitely.
Thus, whoever attaches attributes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recognize His likes, and whoever recognizes His like regard Him too, and whoever regards Him as two recognize part of Him. When you give attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these are very deep aqaid and belief discussion that one must have. But the problem is that since people, they don't know the surface, how can we go deep? Again, this segment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, beautifully, if we dedicate one Ramadan to only ma'rifatullah, to tawheed, is not going to be sufficient. So we come, we learn about Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and the attributes of Allah, that they are the embodiment of the Allah's attributes and they are the personification of Allah's attributes. It can become more clear to us and understandable. Again, we can't.
Yeah.
Our capacity is this much.
Limited, yeah,
we can't go beyond that. So within this capacity, everybody comes and adds something. Everybody comes and says, Allah is this. If Allah is just, then why this is happening?
There is a hadith, I think it's from Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, which says that the best imagination that you have from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it has been created by your own mind. And it refers to you, it's not Allah.
True.
By all the details, if one thinks that, okay, Allah maybe is like this, maybe like this, and just try to imagine about the best details to make a God, and He has heard, it is also His imagination and it's not the God. Because God is not, we can't understand God, what He is, what is the that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is.
I will give you a very, very tangible example.
Yeah.
Until now, with all the AI, artificial intelligence, how can artificial intelligence understand its creator, which is us? We created artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
We put the data together and all the technology behind it, an algorithm behind it. How can this phone, forget about artificial intelligence, iPhone, how can this iPhone understand its creator?
No way.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
Because we created and we gave it capacity. Until now, scientists, we ourselves, we don't know ourselves. Alexis Carrel has a book, Man Unknown. We don't know, as a philosopher, French philosopher.
One can gather lots of information, libraries of books and information, but it doesn't mean that the one can conclude or can just find connections between the information.
Very true.
It's only just like a big dictionary which can't make sentences by itself.
Of course.
Just a big dictionary.
We have information, but I was reading a book about habits, the power of habit, very beautiful book. And it was discussing that until X year, they were thinking that our habit takes an X part of our brain.
Mm-hmm.
But and that was for about a century, that they thought that habits happens and is stored in X part of our brain. After an accident happened to an individual, and that part of brain was damaged, but he still was doing his habit. So that one accident by one individual changed the whole century of hundreds and thousands of scientists, that they believed our habits belongs to this part of the brain. They said, okay, this part of the brain is damaged, then it should be another part of the brain that is involved with habit. Again, one thing that is habit. Our emotions, our mindset, our everything, until now, they come up with a theory, and they have some evidence that they back it up. After 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, they come and say, okay, that theory is falsified, is no longer true. The next. That's as far as human body. How to govern this human body, how to interact with this human body, how with his brain, why he does what he does, and still until now we are unknown, and we are only one creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we come and we say, okay, we want to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can't, we are limited. So who should teach us within this limitation? None but Allah. How? Through His messengers and through those people who He appoints. So again, it is rational obligation for us to search that this world that exists, it can't be only this world that we see. Let me just give you a very beautiful example. For those people who only think that this world, the outer shell that we see, our physical body, the trees, the heaven, the sky, the earth, all that we see from the earth and the heaven, if they think that this is the only thing that is, and there is nothing to back it, and there is nothing that is behind the scene, everybody will laugh at them. How? I'll give you an example. For example, a simple website or an application that you and we use. If my son comes to me, 6-year-old, 7-year-old son comes to me, because of his knowledge, he thinks that this application that I opened, the game, this is it only, not knowing that hours and hours and days and months has been spent behind the scene. There's a lot of coding that has been done behind the scene, that when you press this is what happens. A computer, the language of the computer. My son won't understand 1001010, the coding that they do behind the CC or CC+, all of these coding applications. He doesn't understand. A 6-year-old, he doesn't understand that can there be something behind this? Of course, there are people who designed, they do coding, a website. It is true that you come and you say you click here, this thing opens, you click here, this thing opens, but you don't know how many hours it's been behind the scene. So you have to go click this, you see all the codings. You and we will be lost within all the codings. But there's something exists. We're talking about simple website, application, computer, internet that we don't understand. So it is our obligation to not only think that this world, we're still talking about وَالْمُخْلَصِينَ فِي تَوْحِيدِ اللَّهِ. They are the ones who are most sincere. So we want to learn from that sincerity. How? By increasing our knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? By asking questions and not taking it for granted. I'm here, I'm going to work, I know something. Some people say God exists, some people say God don't exist. I have nothing to do with that. Let me just go with my livelihood. I'll do good to people, and I have nothing else to do. If God is there, good, has nothing to do with me. If God is not there, has nothing to do with me. I'll do my own way, I'll go my way, and I'll leave everybody else. I collect my paychecks, spend it at the end of the 2 weeks, and then work again 40 hours, and then spend the checks, and the cycle goes again and again and again. Our argument against these people, that this is again a rational obligation for you to go. You exist. Who brought you to this world? What happened that you came here? The one that brought you here, does he have obligation upon you? Does he have rights upon you? Does he want something from you? Did he just brought you here and he left you? And if he brought you here and he left you, then his work is meaningless. Then why did you bring me here from the beginning? So these are the questions that people need to ask to get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get what religion is. That religion, awwal din ma'rifatih, that religion is nothing that but Allah, knowing Him, and knowing that He sends, He brought you here, negate some attributes, add some attributes, and all the discussion that it needs its own time. So I have doubts. That's good. Having doubt is what motivates us to go. Some people say Allah exists, some people don't exist. Okay, let me go ask. Let me go research. It is, I repeat myself, it's a rational obligation before it be religious obligation. It's a rational obligation to go and find about Allah, His existence, His oneness, His attribute, His messengers, His book, His teachings, what satisfies Him, what displeases Him. We cannot leave Him. like this. We can't. That is meaningless. Our life become meaningless. When our life become meaningless, when we face obstacle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 obstacles, let's commit suicide. Because I don't know, there's no meaning. I just came here, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know where I'm going. There is nothing for me to do. I did good, it didn't work, let me just commit suicide. We're not talking about those who have hormones problem and medical aspect of it. No, those who lose hope and they commit suicide. That's one aspect of committing suicide. There are different reasons why people commit suicide. We pray for all of them and for all the ill people. So this God wants us to worship Him. How to worship Him?
And besides, we need to notice that worshipping is something which is inside humans innate.
Of course.
We need it. We just, how we just eat food, how we drink water, and we think that, okay, we need food, we need water. Worshipping is something that we need it. Maybe we don't need it just every day, in every time, and we don't feel just like hunger or thirst, but it is part of us and we need it. Some people who don't worship anything, they end to some kind of meaninglessly life, or they think that, okay, there is no reason for my life right here in this world, and they commit suicide, as you said. So I just wanted to say this, that even worshiping Allah, worshiping something greater than us is part of us. We only got 2 minutes to the end of this show. I'm so sorry for
no worries. I have a lengthy hadith. I'll leave it inshallah for tomorrow.
So inshallah we are going to have the rest of this great lecture for tomorrow. Actually, thank you so much for this great lecture, and inshallah tomorrow night also we are going to go through the rest of the hadith. Thank you so much.
Inshallah.
Respected brothers and sisters, dear viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, and inshallah you have enjoyed this great lecture as I did, and I hope inshallah tomorrow night you also be our guests on this show and watch it and tune in inshallah, so we can discuss more about the greatness and oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can think and I can understand and feel that step by step the discussion and the lectures are getting deeper and deeper, and are getting and giving us more information about Ahlul Bayt, and just are changing our background of Islam, and it's going more accurate and great. Thanks to everyone, and thanks to you, dear brothers and sisters. Have a great night. May Allah bless you all, and Ya Hussein. Thanks so much.